All right, Tech Freak, this is a really good question, actually. It made me think about it for a second. Tech Freak wants to know, what if Tech beats OU? Is all forgiven?
Well, that might be putting it a little bit strongly, but I'll tell you this, that changes the whole complexion of everything. If you do that, suddenly you're in a situation where winning 7 games actually looks pretty darn plausible.
Yeah.
You know, and if that happens, then there's no doubt, in my mind anyway, that Kingsbury is back.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's the sort of pivotal game this could be. I mean, everybody thinks it's completely unrealistic that they're going to win this game, but man, if they did, then suddenly, like I said, it all changes up dramatically, and things start looking a heck of a lot brighter.
It changes the season, and it changes the probability of whether Kingsbury returns or not. But is it going to change my idea on if Kingsbury is like a great coach? No. I mean, he'll still be 29-29 in his time here, and that'll be his first win in 10 tries against one of the Oklahoma schools. His record is still god-awful. Big 12 would be 15-26, I believe. So will it erase everything? No, absolutely not. But it sure will make this season look a lot better. And I mean, like I said, and like you said, it probably means he returns another year.
Yep. Now, of course, having said that, you beat Oklahoma, then you got to still take care of business.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean,
either Kansas State or, well, you're talking about 7. For me, if he wins 6, I think he's going to be back.
Yeah, I think 7. So, beat Oklahoma, that gets you to 5.
Yeah.
All right, and then you figure Baylor. You beat Oklahoma, you should definitely be able to handle Baylor, which gets you to 6.
Baylor, it just sounds weird because they're winless, but they don't look like chumps. You know what I mean?
They don't. But yeah, I guess the idea is if you're good enough to go into Norman and win, you should be able to beat Baylor at a neutral site.
Yeah.
So
Kansas State at home too. You should win that.
Win that one. You know, I mean, basically if you beat Oklahoma, that means you're capable of beating everybody else on your schedule.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how big of a win that would be, at least from the standpoint of this season and the remainder of the season.
I think that's what's happened for Iowa State. This is off topic, but I think that's kind of what's happened for Iowa State too. I mean, they figured out something at quarterback there with Kyle Kempt, and he's no superhuman guy. He's no Pat Mahomes, but he's not making many mistakes either. He looks really dang good. And so you go in there and you beat Oklahoma and Norman. You look around and say, hey, if we can do this, we could beat anybody anywhere. You know, so I think that could kind of have a similar effect for Texas Tech. Raider Power 81 wants to know, or says, Dominique Livingston has decommitted from, he said Colleyville, and I was like, oh yeah, from Aggie, and has a Texas Tech offer. Does Tech have a shot at him? A shot, yeah, but realistically, he visited Colorado in September, and they promised him playing time, according to buffstampede.com. Our sister site over there, Colorado, 247 sister site. So basically, you know, they promised him a starting gig, and that I don't think Tech's prepared to do that with the defensive tackles they have coming back. So realistically, I think it's still down to A&M and Colorado. But yeah, I mean, Tech has offered him, so I don't want to just count Tech out, but that's where it's at. Ritter KA says, does Cliff's offense only effectively work with a mobile quarterback? He says to look at the offense's production under Manziel and Mahomes versus under Webb and Shimanek. I know he prefers a mobile quarterback.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean
everybody would love to have a mobile quarterback who can
Johnny Manziel or Patrick Mahomes.
Sure, and do everything else just right. But I don't think that's necessary, really. I mean, first off, if you look at Nick Shimanek, and particularly against Iowa State, he had a few nice runs in that game. With those quarterback draws, he's obviously no Mahomes, but he's a heck of a lot more mobile than Davis Webb. He looks a lot better carrying the ball than Davis Webb. I think that Nick is a good enough runner that you could take advantage of his legs if you wanted to and do some things, and you may see more of that against Oklahoma. So I don't really think that's the issue. I think more than anything, it's just kind of like a lack of personnel on the offensive line and experience and consistency up there. Some very questionable play calling, and just not, at this point, being able to figure out some of these defensive schemes that they're facing so far. And I'm not sure that having a mobile quarterback solves those problems.
Right.
So I don't think that's quite the issue.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with his lack of experience than his immobility. You know what I mean? I think if you look at somebody like, no, he's the best, but like Tom Brady is an expert at moving in the pocket. But I mean, if you look at his 40 numbers, it's god awful. You know what I mean? And Brady is a guy that obviously Kingsbury played with, back in the day. No, I do think a statue type quarterback can work, but you got to have pocket presence. Webb didn't have particularly good pocket presence, and Shimanek doesn't obviously either. So, because even when the offensive line does give him adequate protection, he seems to wig out. I mean, at one point last week, he literally did a pirouette in the middle of a perfectly fine pocket. He missed 2 or 3 guys that were wide open. So his eyes are focused on the rush instead of on his receivers in the secondary, and that's the problem right now. He's missing open guys, and then when he actually is kind of dialed in, the receivers aren't getting separation. So, all right, we're to our final questions from Tornado Watch. He says, with struggling Tech coming to town as a 3-touchdown underdog and an extremely important Bedlam game a week away, do we see Saturday's tilt as a serious trap game for OU? I think that's a possibility for sure. I mean, the way you laid it out, yeah. But I'm pretty sure the quarterback over there, Baker Mayfield, hasn't forgotten that Texas Tech's coming to town.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a situation where Oklahoma comes out with their C game instead of their A game.
Yeah.
And in that situation, it would be, I think, a pretty dicey situation.
Yeah.
But I mean, frankly, I'm just having a hard time seeing any way in which Oklahoma actually loses the game. I mean, I think they could be in a little bit of a dogfight, bless you, down in the late stretches of that game. But I'm also afraid, and I hate to say it, that guy you mentioned, a guy named Baker, in that situation would simply will them to victory. He would find a way to make some plays and pull it out in the end. I hope I'm wrong, but I just can't see a situation in which Oklahoma actually loses the game. Sweats a little bit, yeah, but loses it, I just don't see it.
Yeah. Sports are crazy, Joe.
We got that.
That's really that.
That's about all you can hope for.
Yeah, it helps that Mike Stoops is probably going to do what they do. They're not going to do the fallback, 8 in coverage. That does help. I mean, Shimonek's probably going to have his best game he's had since Kansas because of that. So other than that, though, I mean, like you said, maybe it can help Tech stay close, but as far as win, I'm having a hard time seeing it as well. And so is Vegas, which is why Oklahoma's around a 3-touchdown favorite. So, hey, but you know what? Sports are crazy, Mighty Joe. Tech has faced longer odds and done it before, I believe. So why not this week? Maybe they will. And it sure would be great if they did. It would be amazing on the board next week for all kinds of great dialogue. But hey, great questions from y'all. Great stuff from you as always. And until next time.